We are now moving into a session which is something that the society has been waiting for very eagerly, because this is actually moving the Rail Enthusiast Society into its next step. I am going to request Mr. Ashwani Lohani to please stay back for this session, Mr. Vinu Mathur to please be there for the session, and may I request the Secretary of the Society, Mr. Jayal Singh, to join this session as well. Well, very briefly, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving into a book launch now. The Rail Enthusiast Society has always been very keen to keep adding to credible publications, and one of our dreams was to, in a sustainable manner, keep adding credible publications and books that would appeal to rail enthusiasts. And today, we are using our first global conference to also be the platform for the launch of the book. It is with greatest pleasure that I inform you that the author of the book is none other than this gentleman who has been quizzing you the whole day, today and yesterday, Vikas Singh, a diehard rail enthusiast, and therefore an absolute pleasure that the first book ever that the Rail Enthusiast Society publishes is authored by Vikas. The book itself is a major labor of love. It encapsulates 16 years of absolutely crazy rail fanning by Vikas, where he has actually walked every known kilometer of narrow gauge on Indian railways. And if I'm not mistaken, most of the meter gauge route as well. And we are talking about walking these routes, not just riding these routes. So that is the kind of enthusiasm that Vikas brings. And since it's a publication that Vikas has done, this wonderful book called Black Beauties, The Surviving Locomotives of India, is the first ever complete photographic documentation of the surviving steam locomotives of India. But let me not talk about the book, because that's something which later in the session I'll be requesting Vikas to do. I am quickly handing over to Jayal Singh sir to let you know about how the society wishes to take all of this forward.
Thank you very much, Mayank. In fact, all that I had wanted to say, we have already said. All I can add is that the Rail Enthusiast Society, when it started, it had primarily one area that it was looking at, and that was the publishing of a magazine. But the intention always was that we would keep adding other activities, keep adding other things that we are doing. And I'm very happy to inform everybody who's listening now that over the last 5 years that we've been in existence, we've added 1 or 2 activities every year. We started by adding guided rail trips. Then we added visits to sites. Visits to sites means visiting stations, walking through stations, going to maintenance depots, going to construction sites. For instance, we visited the bridge over the river Chenab on the line which is going to Kashmir. When the bridge was being built, a group of us went and had a look at it, and things like that. We added quizzes and debates for schools. Just before the pandemic hit us, we started the training of volunteers from schools to act as guides in the National Rail Museum, and so on and so forth. Another thing with the pandemic really got us into was having a monthly talk by a rail enthusiast addressing other rail enthusiasts. We've already had 7 talks. This conference that we're having now is the first conference that we are having, and we are sure that it will become an annual event. And now finally, we've added one more activity, which is launching of a book that we are publishing. And we are hoping that we will publish at least 2 or 3 books every year. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, sir. The event would not be complete if I were not to invite Mr. Vinu Mathur, the president of the society, an erudite scholar of railway history, a connoisseur of pre-period architecture, and himself an author of that wonderful book, Bridges, Buildings, and Black Beauties. Sir, this event cannot be complete if we don't hear from you.
I think it's a very good new activity that has been started, and I'd urge our members to think of a subject, and then, or if you want help in thinking of a subject, Mayank is always there to give you new ideas, and he can always help you. Because it is important. One of the good things about the British period in Indian history was that it is very well documented. Now, but that documentation is also getting lost. So, whatever subject fascinates you, I think you need to think about it, you need to research it. And if you can write a small book, it would be wonderful. Um, uh, and I see this way forward for people sort of expanding their knowledge on subjects that interest them. And when you actually start researching something, it is a tremendous and very satisfied learning experience. So I'd encourage our members, and even if you are not a member, we would request you to write a book. It need not be a very lengthy book, but it should cover the subject that you are thinking about very comprehensively. And I compliment Mayank, JL Singh, and everybody else in our society for coming out with this thought. And today we have this wonderful ceremony of releasing the first book, which Vikas has so painstakingly researched and is bringing out. Thank you.
At this stage, Lohani sir, I have a small request to make of you. I understand that you are tight on your schedule today.
5:30, I got a meeting.
Sir?
I got a meeting at 5:30. Yeah.
Well, in that case, sir, the original plan was for Vikas to share the book, and then we were going to request you to formally release the book. Now, Vikas, we are at 5:02. We started a little early because we did not want to hold back Mr. Lohani. Vikas, are you in a position to make your presentation and close it in 10-12 minutes, and then could the book be launched?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Perfect.
I'm sure I'll quickly do
and
that.
Lohani sir, will it suit you to be here with us till around 5:20 in the evening?
No, 5:20 is fine. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Vikas, you have 10 to 12 minutes to share with us 16 years of a labor of love. Not very fair, but there you are.
Okay, the story of steam survivors. So sometime in the late 60s, Indian Railways decided to gradually eliminate steam locomotives. Now, the decision was taken from a host of freight, environmental, speed, and maintenance considerations. The last broad gauge steam loco was built by Chittaranjan Locomotive Works in June 1970, and it was aptly called Antim Sitara. The number was 10560. Before that, the last WP class broad gauge loco had been built at CLW in 1967. Telco, Tata Engineering and Locomotive Company built the last YP class MG loco 2870 in 1970. And the last YG class MG loco number 3573 was built by Telco in 1972. Now, the last narrow gauge steam loco built in India was the ZB class 122 in 1959 at the Chittaranjan Locomotive Works. In the beginning of 1990s, there were still over 2,500 steam locomotives working, of which 1,027 were broad gauge, 1,398 meter gauge, and 99 narrow gauge. The decline of the steam locomotives accelerated after that, and in 1995-96, we had just 209 locos left. Now, as Ashwani sir has already said, the last broad gauge loco WL 15,005 hauled the broad gauge steam loco between Firozpur and Jalandhar on 6th December 1995. The regular mainline narrow gauge steam era came to an end in August 1996 when ZP2 hauled the last steam service on the Pulgaon-Arvi section. The meter gauge operations continued for some more time. In the mid-1990s, Mahu, Wankaner and Jetalsar were the last surviving meter gauge steam loco sheds. However, by the end of 1999, meter gauge steam services had completely stopped, giving way to the diesel locos. In 1996-97, there were only 75 steam locomotives still in service. Central Railway had 3, North Frontier Railway 15, mostly on the DHR, Southern Railway 8, mostly on the NMR, and Western Railway 49. Over time, most of these locomotives were cut up and sold as scrap. Not even the builder plates were preserved. Now, the book that we are talking about today has details of 303 Indian steam survivors at 120 locations. Now, from where I stay in Indrapuram, Ghaziabad, the westernmost locomotive is at Bhuj, 1,170 kilometers. The easternmost locomotive is at Tinsukia, which is 2,390 kilometers. The southernmost locomotive is at Coimbatore, which is 2,490 kilometers. And the northernmost locomotive is at Jodhpur, which is 640 kilometers. Now, I give the statistics just to give you an understanding of what is the width and the spread of this 303 locomotives in the country today. Just to share with you a few pictures, this is a 1954 built YP class meter gauge loco, Cross Maffei, Germany, number 2211, now plinth outside the Bhuj railway station. This is a 1945 built GX class MG loco, Bayer, Peacock and Company, Manchester, UK, number 30286, now at the Railway Heritage Park in Tinsukia. This is an X class MG loco outside the Coimbatore railway station. This is a 1907 built CC class narrow gauge loco, North British Loco Company, Glasgow, number 676, now plinth outside Ranchi railway station. This is an 1887 built FM-A class meter gauge loco, number 253. Now, this used to work at the Lohad sugar mill and has now been restored and plinth outside the Darbhanga railway station. This is in bad condition. This is an 1884 built meter gauge loco, Vulcan Foundry. This is ex Terut Railway, now in the Saraya sugar mill. This is an 1897 built narrow gauge loco, Hassan, WG Bagnal loco, now plinth at the Coal Heritage Park and Museum, Margarita. This was the first meter gauge loco to work on Indian railways, 1874 built A1 class, Dubs and Company, Glasgow. It is now at the Gorakhpur Railway Museum. Now, apart from indigenous production, US, UK, Canada, Japan, Czechoslovakia, France, Germany, Switzerland, Yugoslavia, and Poland also supplied locomotives to Indian Railways. Now, this book has details of all the locomotives that survived from these different countries. For example, this is a locomotive that was built in Poland. Now it's under restoration at the Rewari Steam Center. WP class, broad gauge loco, 7,000. Now, of these 303 locos, 19 are in private hands, 24 under ownerships of different non-Indian Railway government agencies, and the remaining 260 locos are under Indian Railways. 42 steam locomotives are in working condition, homed mostly at the Rewari Steam Loco Center and the Siliguri shed. 3 locomotives are currently under restoration. This is the Fairy Queen that Lohani sir talked about, and now at the Rewari Steam Loco Center. This is just one of the B class locomotives at the Siliguri Loco shed. So that's the end, and this work, as Mayank rightly said, is a work of labor and a work of love, because for 16 years, I mean, I started with a KB10 camera, very, very primitive camera, and you know, some of the pictures from that type are really very bad. So needed a lot of effort in scanning and traveling all across the country. So this is possibly the only documentation of the entire surviving and the working steam locomotives of the country. So I think mine, that's all.
Wonderful, Vikas. It's just that you've gone through this much faster than we thought. So wow. Well, the beauty of this whole thing is going to be that we are going to allow everyone to discover this book, because after it is released, we will also be releasing it for a pre-order, which I will tell you about in a short while. Well, at this stage, the only copy of the book is currently available with none other than Ashwani Lohani sir. And Lohani sir, may I request that, one second, do we have Lohani sir here?
Yeah.
I suspect Lohani sir is probably on a short call somewhere.
No, he's there. He has to unmute himself.
Do you spot him?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't.
Is there? He has to unmute.
Yes, Lohani sir. We request you to please unmute yourself. And sir, we actually take it as a very wonderful compliment for the society that you have agreed to launch the very first book that the Rail Enthusiast Society wishes to publish. Who better than you, sir, to launch a book on the surviving steam locomotives of India? May I request you, sir, to please say a few words before the launch of the book itself?
Wonderful work, Vikas. Vikas has always been an enthusiast, and it's always apparent from his face. He's always smiling and full of energy, and that is what one of the prerequisites of being a rail enthusiast. Well done. I think your book will also help us in ensuring that no further locomotive is cut up. Because they have cut up so many locomotives, at least there'll be a record. If these many locomotives are still here, these 303 locomotives are still here, they can't be cut up. So I think your book is going to help in that. You have done a lot of research. I think you must have gone around the entire country, seen the country also in the bargain, contributed to the tourism of the country also while going around all these places. And it's a job very well done. It will take us forward. It will take the steam movement forward. That is what I hope. This book will be a great instrument in taking the steam locomotive forward and in resurrecting locomotives. Perhaps out of this book itself, we can locomotives whose condition are good, they can be picked up for resurrection. So well, great job, Vikas. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank
you. And a great job on part of the society also to encourage and promote such activities. Great. Thank you.
Mayank, you are off.
Well,
I realize that.
Also, Mayank.
Sir.
What I'll also like to do is just let me.
So we are on speaker view, so you are the prominent person on the screen now.
I'll just like to just read one para which I used to write everywhere.
Beautiful.
That I've also written in the foreword. And I said, why steam? Why steam? The answer is obvious. There's one piece of machinery that is admired and loved the world over, to the extent that people would travel great distances to watch in awe a steaming steam locomotive. The diesel electric locomotives come nowhere close. That it was also the harbinger of the industrial revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries is besides the point. Now, why do you love a steam engine? The presence of an open fire that generates raw power. Firebox, you open the firebox door, you see fire. And fire always fascinates. The internal combustion engine doesn't fascinate. The external combustion engine fascinates. The presence of an open fire that generates raw power in the belly of the steam locomotive is the draw. The unique sound, the rocking gait, the shrill whistle, the throbbing body, and an open design bordering on nudity are features that impart an irresistible charm to these black beauties. The die-hard steam enthusiast believes in the individual and unique personality of each steam locomotive. I've been a part of the steam era. In 80 when I joined the railway, steam engines were very much there. Tufan Express used to take. Every steam locomotive had a unique personality. That is why a personality is so individual that it warranted a crew of 3. A driver and 2 firemen. By name, the names were painted on the steam locomotives to be assigned to her on a permanent basis. And we also love our steam engine because a steam locomotive is a she. It has grace, tremendous grace. The diesels and the electrics are a it. So that is why steam. And that is why Vikas has brought out this book on Black Beauties. We never had beauty competitions for planes. We never had. We never had beauty competitions for ships. Never for buses, never for coaches, never for diesel locomotives, never for electric locomotives. But you had beauty competitions for black beauty competitions all over the country. Every shed used to have it for steam. That is why steam. That is why all of us have to be for steam. And well, Vikas has made a major contribution. I wish him all the very best.
Thank you very, very much, Lohani sir, for your ever infectious enthusiasm. Sir, you're actually holding currently with you the only copy of the book. So may I please request that you hold it up for all the members to see. There it is, the first print of the book that we shall be publishing, and in what better hands than Mr. Lohani's? Which better person than Vikas to be the author of the book? And I have a special surprise now for all of you who are watching just now. We are actually going to permit you to pre-order this book because this book is actually to be printed. So we are going to allow you to pre-order this book. And in a short while, I will share with you the screen where you can actually do that. Lohani sir, thank you so very much for showing to our audience this absolutely remarkable book. Thank you so much, sir. I'm going to take just a minute more and I'll try to share with you the screen where I hope I would be able to show you. Right, so here we are. All you really need to do is go down to the Rail Enthusiast Society website, which is railenthusiastindia.org. Please navigate. In fact, let me take you to the home and I'll navigate you there. So this is our website, railenthusiastindia.org.in. Please go to the activities and events section where we are talking about this event. And you will now see from yesterday to now, we've added on this new button called pre-order book. And when you hit the pre-order book button, this is where you will land. Here it is, the book Black Beauties by Vikas Singh. My internet connection says it's unstable. I hope you can still see me.
We can see you.
Perfect. So it says the surviving steam locomotives of India. Now we've priced this book at 600 rupees, but we have a discounted price of 500 rupees if you pre-order it. Postage, of course, comes extra at 100 rupees. And you can even see a few layouts of what the book is going to look like. It's been planned in duotone. We personally believe this is going to be a collector's item. So what we have actually done is that we have numbered these books and there are only going to be 400 of these books. So we are actually going to sell only 400 numbered copies of this book, which is one of the reasons why we've opened the pre-orders. My apologies to our global participants. We have still not been able to figure out a reliable way of reaching the book to you globally. So we are actually not yet taking pre-orders for global orders, but we do have all your emails. And as soon as we can figure out a reliable means of reaching the book to you, we will reach out to you and let you know how you could pre-order this book. So there it is on a simple little page there. This page, of course, is not on our website. It's taking you away from our website. And it indicated you just have to give us your details, give us your name, the number of copies you want. So that's easily done from here. If you are looking for more than one copy, you just kind of ask for it, ask for 2 copies, and the amount that you need to pay changes. Incidentally, if you're looking for 3 or more copies, then don't bother ordering from the website. Please contact us on railenthusiast2015@gmail.com. If you want to order more than 3 copies, we'll be happy to take it as a bulk order. If you're looking for 1 or 2 copies, please come straight to the site and order it. Once again, my apologies to our global participants because the current pre-order is open only for India, but it is already open. For those of you who have already negotiated to the site, you're there. Have I stopped sharing my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So for those of you who have already negotiated to the site, well done. For those who have not, let me just quickly copy and paste onto the chat box the link to the site itself so that everyone can have the first mover advantage of being logged in just now. There you are. It's on the chat box. So please go right ahead and get your pre-orders. Vikas, thank you very much for starting this entire process off. Lohani sir, really appreciate you being the person who's launched this book for us. Vinu Mathur sir and JL Singh sir, you are the powerhouse because of which the society survives. So I'm so glad that you have been instrumental in making this happen.
Very appropriately, the foreword of this book is written by Mr. Lohani.
JL Singh sir, I'm not hearing you. Maybe it's a problem
Hello.
at my end.
No, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah. What I said was that appropriately, Mr. Lohani has written the foreword to this book, and there could be no better person.
Absolutely agree.
I would
Well,
also like to mention that when Vikas went round his narrow gauge section, it was 5,000 kilometers of narrow gauge. He has walked them all. Now, of course, a lot of it has been converted to broad gauge, but the days when he went around, it was 5,000 kilometers.
And you would generally not find friends to walk with you on those narrow gauge because those were generally in far-flung areas, and
Unfortunately, I didn't.
want to go to
No, unfortunately, I didn't know you then.
Yeah.
I wish I knew you then. I would have walked more than 5,000 kilometers with you.
I see a chat message which says the site is not working. Well, we'll take a look at that. When I had checked it, it was. In case there's a minor problem there, please save that link with you. And as soon as I get off this session or at the end of the day today, we'll make it happen and make it go. But sir, I'll just check it immediately because before we released it, we had actually checked everything and it was working. Have I pasted the wrong thing? Okay, somebody has now straight away pasted the payment site. No, when you go to the site, you have to hit the pre-order button. But what Abhinav has done is that he's directly pasted the payment site. And there's a question which says the amount is 600 including postage. Absolutely correct. The discounted price is 500 rupees. The postage is an additional 100 rupees. And if you look, it actually says so just below the box. I think some people have already managed. So I am able to go to the link. Okay, so people are being able to go. Out of academic interest, I'll be very interested to know if somebody has already managed to place a first order. If you have, please put in a word in the chat, but I suspect you're too busy filling in your address details. Well, this really makes us extremely happy as a society to reach this book out to you. Vikas, before we close this session, any last words to your readers?
No, I only, would say that this book would be a very important reference material if you want to look at the surviving steam locomotives of the country. It's a complete documentation. And what's also important, apart from the pictures, there are 6 essays. So one of the essays is on the Rewari Steam Center. You get to know the complete history of Rewari Steam Center and the locomotives which are there. There is a essay on 22 locomotives that tell the story of Indian Railways. So if you know about this 22 locomotives, you know the complete history of Indian railways. So this is a section on that. There's a section on the heritage mountain railways of India. Now, UNESCO, as per UNESCO World Heritage Listing, there are 4 mountain railways. This essay looks at in detail at all these 4 mountain locomotives. You will also find details about industrial locomotives, some of which are still in very bad shape. So you will find details about those surviving locomotives which are there in the various sugar mills. And there is a very useful annexure at the end, which gives you the complete details of the 303 locomotives. When was it built, which class, what was the original builder number, the manufacturer, whether it is in working condition or preserved. So that sheet at the end, that annexure and the exact location. So in which city and which is the exact location. So that will be a very important reference material for any rail enthusiast. So I hope you find the book very useful as a reference material, or also if you want to know more about the steam locomotives of Indian Railways.
Wonderful. And I already have a message with Mr. Raghunandan says, done. Look forward to receiving the book soon. Well, I am thrilled, Raghunandan sir, if you're the first person to have placed the order. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Somebody beat you to it. So Siddharth Ashok says, I guess I'll be the first to pre-order. I love this. Do remember, just 400 copies. Numbered, they're out there. And trust me, since it's our first book, we want to make sure it is going to be an absolute collector's edition.
Oh, Raghu sir said that, I want to have it autographed by you. I mean, coming from Raghu sir, it's a big compliment. I mean,
wow, this is really wonderful. Well, to all the rail enthusiasts out there, 400 copies waiting to reach you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
One
very,
last
very
question.
much.
Is there any locomotive that could not be photographed?
Yeah. Yes. Out of this 303, there are 6 locomotives that could not be photographed, primarily because they are in workshops, and I guess they are not in very good condition because, despite taking help of a lot of railway people, we could not get those 6 photographs. The details are there in the sheet at the end of the annexure, but the photographs are not there. Because it's very difficult, but we'll try, in subsequent edition, maybe put those 6 pictures also. They were really tough ones. I mean, like the Jhansi workshop, the Sahibganj workshop, and the Aizat Nagar workshop. I mean, these are really in a very, very remote area, and especially for rail enthusiasts to enter a workshop is very, very tough. So
we are trying to make that easy. I hope it works. We'll let you know.
This is absolutely superb. Vikas, you should be reading some of the compliments that are pouring in for you. And so a lot of people congratulating you for this. I saw someone saying that this is the one book that they had really been waiting for. Thank you very much. Another one which says, Vikas ji, I admire you. Wish I could travel as you. Can't wait to get your book. Then thanks to RES for making it happen. To Ashwani sir, a pleasure to see you. Absolutely wonderful. This is great. Okay, so there's a statement here which says in UK, but love to pre-order the book. Well, for our overseas participants, we will get back very quickly to you with the solution. Give us a week to work things out. The customs and postage and things like that were things we were not able to negotiate in a manner that we were comfortable with. So bear with us to solve that problem, and future books we hope are going to be global releases. Somebody, okay, the gentleman who got the first order wants to know if 001 is the book that he will hold in his hand. I suspect Vikas has already blocked off the first 5, if not the first 20. So,
no, we can give him 007. No, give this gentleman 007.
So, okay. We are about to begin our next session now. Thank you very much for that very...
Just a minute. I'd like to announce the winners of the quiz for today. So I did a draw of lots. So the clear winner obviously was Atulya. He got 2 correct answers. Other than that, we had a draw of lot. And the 2 people who came from the draw of lot, one is Ankur J. and the second person is Siddharth Joshi. So what I would request is all the 3, Atulya, Ankur, J and Siddharth Joshi, to put in their email and the contact details in the chat box, and we will be in touch with you for the membership and other requirements. So please put your name and address in the chat box. Yeah, Ankur has already done that. Yeah, mine, so we can move on to the next session.
Well, thank you very much for that very enthusiastic response. It really makes us feel very good about our decision to make more such books available. And now we are 1 minute away from the next session for the day. May I hand over to JL Singh, sir, the Secretary of the Society, and a gentleman now who no longer needs any introduction anywhere, and therefore I hand over straight away to you, sir, for the next session of the day.